If you work with people, sooner or later you will face situations that truly test you. It can be a conflict between colleagues that starts to affect the whole team, a difficult personal case, or a decision you personally disagree with but still have to carry out. Sometimes it is even more subtle. You sense that something is not quite right. There is an unease beneath the surface, but you are not sure how to approach it. Many leaders and coaches experience how demanding situations like this can be, not because they lack competence, but because competence alone is not enough. These situations require judgment, presence, and the ability to navigate complexity in a human way. In Nordic coaching, this is what we develop, what I call a human compass, the ability to stay present when conversations become difficult and to hold the space instead of avoiding it. Before I go deeper into that, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Anneli Brandfjell, and for many years I have worked closely with people as a leader, coach and a guide. I have led large teams and handled demanding situations where decisions had to be made even when they were not easy. Over time, I discovered something that changed how I understood my role. The situations that felt the most difficult, they were rarely about strategy or results. They were about people, about relationships, about what happened between people when something is hard to say out loud. That realization made me start searching for something deeper, not only tools and methods, but a way of understanding the situations on a human level. That is how Nordic coaching began to take shape. I also believe strongly that we learn in different ways, not only through theory, but through experience, reflection, and atmosphere. That is why this learning journey is designed to be holistic and sensory, combining text, video, music, and reflection to support deeper learning. I remember a situation from early in my leadership career. There was a serious conflict between two employees. Both were on sick leave when I started as a leader, but after some conversations, they agreed to return to work. Then something happened that I was not prepared for. After a meeting, one of them hit the other in the face in the hallway. She fell to the floor, bleeding. I remember going into my office, closing the door, and thinking, what have I stepped into? I handled the situation as best as I could at that time, but looking back, I see that much could have been done earlier. We should have gone deeper into the conflict from the beginning, not only focusing on returning to work, but on what had actually happened between them, what they felt, and what it would take to work together again. That experience stayed with me for a long time, not because I avoided conflict as a person, but because I was not prepared for that level of intensity. In that moment, I froze. And that is something many leaders and coaches recognize, not because they lack skill, but because real human situations can be unpredictable. This is also where many coaching and leadership programs fails or fall short. They teach models and techniques, but they do not always prepare us for what happens when emotions, vulnerability, and pressure collide. It was experiences like this that made me start looking for something more, because leadership and coaching are not only about what we know, they are about how we meet people when things become difficult. Over time, I began to develop what I now call a human and professional compass, a way of navigating situations with more clarity, steadiness, and confidence. At the same time, coaching as a field has developed a lot. There are many good models and tools available today, and much of it is valuable. But many also experience that coaching has become fast, technical, and strongly focused on performance and results. Nordic coaching was developed as an alternative to this, not by rejecting what already exists, but by adding something more human, more reflective, and more sustainable. It is not about starting from scratch. It is about landing more deeply in what you already know. Nordic coaching is a learning journey for people who already work with others and who want a more integrated way of understanding coaching and leadership. It brings together structure and human understanding, reflection and action. The goal is not only to create results, but to support people in making choices they can live with over time. When I compare classical coaching with Nordic coaching, I do not just see small differences. I see a shift in how we understand people and how we meet them. In many approaches, the focus is on goals and performance. In Nordic coaching, we begin with a human being because progress means very little if we lose ourselves along the way. The pace is also different. Instead of pushing for quick results, we create space for reflection and understanding. Because real change comes from insight, and the approach itself is different. It is not only about methods and techniques, but about presence, ethics, and awareness. Because in the end, it is not the method that changes people. It is the meeting between two human beings. Nordic coaching is built for real lives with responsibilities, relationships, and a need for balance. It is about moving from performance to presence. The professional foundation of Nordic coaching is built on several pillars that work together. Instead of relying on one method, it brings together different traditions in a structured way. You develop strong conversational skills. You learn how to use frameworks like the GROW model in a flexible way. You understand how motivation works from the inside, and you explore how mental focus and calmness can support reflection and decision-making. Ethics runs through everything, not as a theory, but as something lived in practice. In how we meet people, how we use our role, and how we take responsibility. Over time, this becomes more than a set of tools. It becomes a way of working and a way of being in conversations with others. What you gain from this learning journey is not only knowledge, but a deeper sense of confidence in demanding situations. You learn to listen more precisely, to stay calm in difficult conversations, and to understand what is happening beneath the surface. Many also experience that it changes how they live, not only how they work. It affects how they make decisions, how they set boundaries, and how they create balance in everyday life. So what does this mean in practice? It means that you are better able to recognize what is happening in a situation before it develops into conflict. It means that you can stay present in difficult conversations without becoming defensive. And it means that you can ask questions that create reflection instead of reaction. Over time, you become more steady, more aware, and more confident when situations become demanding. And that is what Nordic coaching is really about. If what you have heard in this presentation resonates with you, you are warmly invited to join the learning journey in Nordic coaching. This is a program of deeper learning for those who work with people and who want a stronger professional and human compass in demanding situations. And what you will receive. As a participant, you will gain access to the entire learning journey, the modules we have talked about, the in-depth books, the learning videos, and the music that supports reflection and integration. When you enroll now, you will also receive the launch bonus, the ebook When Conversations, Leadership and Public Exposure Require More Than Strategy. The regular price for the Nordic Coaching Learning Journey is 15,800 Norwegian crowns. However, as part of the launch, I want to make the program more accessible with a special introductory price. The first 50 participants will therefore receive access to the entire learning journey for 7,900. When these places are filled, the price will return to the regular rate. If you feel that this is a direction you would like to explore further, you will find more information and the enrollment link below the presentation. Perhaps this is the beginning of developing your own human compass in meeting with other people.